Hey there everyone, today we're doing 3 ways to take down the Frozen Army. Now my setup here is 10,000 damage, my stats are with relic gear, they're very mediocre, nothing special, no jewels at all, so I have got a setup here which anyone could have. Now this first one I like to call the Assassin, that's because it's got single target damage, thunderbolt, dust devils or chain lightning. You're going to use those to pick off enemies. Plus you've got Nature Fireball, very important, that's very useful for taking down the melee enemies when they're grouped together. Protection Ball, again very important, you will be killed very quickly in this tournament challenge, and Frost Drake for obvious reasons. Now Frost Drake, not Fire Drake, because Fire Drake will do half damage, Frost Drake will do normal damage. That's because these enemies are water type. It's the way it works. If you use fire against water, because it's good against fire, it does half damage. So make sure you have the skill rune on to make it water type. Okay, here we go. Now you start off all of these by doing a protection bubble, then a frost drake the way you're running. I highly recommend taking out these 2 closest enemies and then putting down another frost drake behind, and yeah, just keep going from there. I'm not going to talk too much because I'll be concentrating on lots doing this. But as you can see, put in your Nature Fireballs when there's the melee enemies grouped together. Situation like this, use Protection Bubble, which isn't working, and yeah, keep circling around, picking off individual enemies with your 2 powerful skills. There you go, that's that one done. The next set I'm going to show I like to call the Runner. That's because you're going to be using Sandstorm here and Stormgate, or otherwise just Teleport, to keep away from the enemies. You're focused on just keep running away, and you want to put down Frost Drake right next to where you are, so you can then put a Sandstorm right on top of it and run away further. Fireball, of course, to take down any individual enemies, any group of enemies when they're away from you. So you start off by putting on a protection bubble, doing a frost drake the way you're going, and then putting a sandstorm on top of it. Keep the frost drakes down, and just keep holding up this little section until you can until it forces you to retreat. At this point now, I want to move across to the other side and continue working off the same technique. You can see with low damage this seems to be more effective than the first one, but personally I prefer the first one because my main character is a lot more powerful. This last one I like to call the Tank. It's not so good unless you have high stats, and it mainly revolves around Protection Bubble here. You have to wait for the cooldown, so it works much better if you're using a cooldown potion. So the setup for this one is Storm Breath, and that is Breath of Fire with the skill rune on. It's very important to have the skill rune, it means you're going to do double damage. So yeah, this general setup, you can use either Nature Fireball or Thunderbolt, either one works well for this. Teleport also works very well, so you can get away. Alright. we start this one by putting down a frost drake, running that direction, and immediately starting off with a protection bubble and storm breath. You then want to run through and try and get as many of them as possible during that time. The second wave is going to appear very soon now, and you want to focus on distracting them with the frost drakes until you get your protection bubble back and you can do another storm breath through them. Now, as time progresses, you're probably going to end up with quite a few of them, and what you want to focus on doing is keeping them away with your frost drake, so distracted, waiting for that protection bubble, and then doing another storm breath. You'll probably need to teleport away while they're distracted. You can see there I didn't get critical hits properly, so there's quite a few of them, and I'm just going to keep teleporting away, putting up frost drakes until I finally get my protection bubble, can start a storm breath and run through them again. Now, I said you kind of need higher stats for this, but as you can see, I have got lower stats on this, and I'm still able to do it. You just got to be very careful about when you approach them. The towers you don't need to worry about too much. They do some damage, but they don't do a lot. So as you can see, nice clean run on that as well. So thanks very much for watching. I hope this helps you out a little bit with that first challenge. I haven't looked at the other challenges yet, but yeah, certainly this first one is difficult. So yeah, either go as the assassin, the runner, or the tank.